This week on Nature Adventures, we're going to visit the beautiful island of Cozumel, Mexico.
There's a lot to do and see, so let's go.
Hi, I'm Terry.
And I'm Todd, and we love to explore nature.
We want you to experience what we do.
So come along with us and our cameras as we film wild creatures and nature as we encounter them.
With no huge camera crew, no big production, just us.
It's a real nature adventure, and we sure have fun doing it.
The following program features the work of experts. What you are about to see was compiled for educational and entertainment purposes only. Viewers should not attempt to approach or handle a wild animal. Today we're heading to explore Cozumel, Mexico, a tropical island paradise in the Caribbean. Our island host met us in San Miguel and took us to our resort to get settled in before beginning our exploration. It was in a beautiful jungle location towards the southern end of the island. We had access to the waterfront and were amidst a jungle setting, which was perfect for us. We immediately knew that we were in the right place when we saw this Jesus lizard run across our path as if to welcome us to the island.
It was time for the real adventure to begin. We headed up the north end of the island, and I can already tell this was our kind of place. Terry never looked that relaxed when I was driving.
We boarded a boat and headed further north to an area of salt flats. We will go past Passion Island and continue to head north to the flats where we'll try our hand at fly fishing and hopefully spot some wildlife. The water was clear as a bell, and soon there was something over our heads. It appeared to be a magnificent frigate bird. Sweet! We can check that off our lifers list. Soon we arrived at the flats. They make a great habitat for a wide range of birds, including this little blue heron. Dang, it flew away! I wanted to ask it for suggestions of a good place to fish.
We came upon this magnificent frigate bird, the same species that flew over earlier, who posed for us to give us a closer look.
Mangroves are present in the flats, and they provide a shelter for birds and fish, including this brown pelican. This species prefers salt water, and they're very social animals, so it's odd to see this one alone.
The calm waters made getting a steady shot pretty easy. I may have spoken too soon. While filming birds, I'm not sure if there's such a thing as an easy shot. It's almost as tricky as filming monkeys, like Terry.
What?
Hi, I'm Todd with Nature Adventures.
Nice to meet you, Todd. It was time to try my luck at fly fishing. This is all new to me, so don't laugh.
No.
Okay, fine, laugh.
So that wasn't right. No, when your piece is gone, you take out the line.
So I lost the little fly on the end, so he's got to put a new one on. How do you say bad fisherman in Spanish? Because I think I have a new nickname.
Mal pescador.
Mal pescador?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, mal pescador.
You know, you gotta love a woman that can laugh at herself. Because it's no fun to laugh by yourself.
I had a hard time understanding the whole concept of letting line out to reel in a fish. Something just wasn't jiving. But thankfully, I had competent help. Otherwise, I would have had better luck trying to talk the fish into giving up. I think the fish felt sorry for me, or maybe it was beginner's luck. Yes. Wait a minute.
Look in your hand. Okay.
Right there, look at that. I didn't do it by myself, but it still counts, right?
Okay.
I'll get better. Hi, buddy. And this is called a what?
Yeah, bonefish.
Bonefish.
Yeah, this is the bones.
And these are good to eat?
No.
We had a great time, and I came back with a fish story.
Well, I have a raccoon story. Check this out. Terry doesn't believe me when I tell her I make friends easily. What I don't say is they're not human. Hey, come back. That wasn't meant to be an insult. This is a Cozumel raccoon, and this species of raccoon doesn't occur anywhere else in the world. They only live right here on this island. They're smaller than other species, and they have a black throat band and a golden yellow tail. The Cozumel raccoon is critically endangered due to the fact that they're the only ones found here on the island.
Can you blame them for running away from you? Next, our island host Pablo drove us to the Cozumel Country Club. Here we met up with our friend Benny. Benny knew some of the areas near here that we might be able to spot some unique wildlife. So Todd drove with Pablo and I jumped on with Benny. The first species we spotted was this black-bellied whistling duck. Their name says a lot about them. They're ducks with black bellies and their vocalizations are more like a whistle than a quack. They eat mainly plants and grains but will occasionally eat insects. And here are some ducklings. This species is unique that adults form monogamous pair bonds in which both parents take care of the young, which is unusual in the duck world.
While Terry was busy taking pictures of those cute ducklings, I was off making friends with this black spiny-tailed iguana. Pablo, on the other hand, was thoroughly enjoying himself as he waited. Perhaps he was wishing he was fishing or maybe even golfing. That long tail is used for defense and also helps him balance when climbing.
Time to move on. If that iguana hadn't left, I'm pretty sure Todd would still be there.
I guess Terry was having duck withdrawals, so we moved on to the next pond where we found some common moorhens. I think it's interesting that this species can be found in almost the entire world. We also found this jacana. That thing on its head is called a wattle, and it's mainly there for looks. Both male and females have them in this species.
I was thoroughly enjoying seeing things I'd never seen before. Next, we spotted two green iguanas. The one on the left is probably more colorful because it's younger. Although they're called green iguanas, their colors vary. Here's another black iguana. They were everywhere, but no worries, they're completely harmless and some almost seem tame.
Now I spotted something in the pond. See if you can spot it. Right there, it's a turtle head. We moved on to the next pond where we spotted another black iguana. They're as common here as robins in springtime back home. Then this one had a friend, a small crocodile. How cool is that? This is an American crocodile, and yes, they live here on the island. These crocs are mild-mannered, and while it's true they could hurt you, it's unlikely they would. He's chillin' and doesn't mind us at all.
We continued our exploration. What a jewel we found, a wildlife lover's paradise. We spotted these snowy egrets. Hey, wait, come back. I want to talk to you. I'll be nice, I promise. There, that's better. Yeah, you just stand there. Whoa, I better talk fast because this may not last. Snowy egrets' flight feathers on their wings and tail give them great balance, as he's demonstrating here. All right, I think he's got it now. He finds this a great place to perch so he can stalk his prey from above. They usually hunt by running around in the water, but occasionally they'll hover above and stalk prey like this one is creatively trying to do.
Birds hovered over our heads. Were they trying to tell us something, or unaware that there are several small crocs in the water? It's important those birds take note, as crocs could eat them, but it's more likely that they're preying upon fish and smaller birds, reptiles, or amphibians. Other creatures we encountered here were less intimidating, like this species, which is commonly known as the Julia butterfly.
So far, our expectations were up to par, no pun intended. We spotted this huge green iguana who seems to think he's the king of the course. He's followed closely by this other king, Todd. This could be a fierce competition, but my bet is on the lizard. Under his chin, you will see his dewlap. They display those for attracting a mate, when greeting others, or when a threat approaches. So I'm not sure if he's trying to impress Todd, saying hi, or trying to show him who's king. It turns out that none of these theories are true. He spotted a different competitor, and we watched him as he approached it. Soon there were two iguanas and Todd. The black iguana began bobbing his head to warn the green iguana that he's tough too. The frequency and number of bobs can be interpreted by other iguanas, but sadly, we haven't been able to interpret that yet. Soon they were both bobbing, and watched the black iguana nip the green iguana. It was cool to see them side by side, to see the differences and have the opportunity to watch their behaviors.
Coming up, Terry sees pink. The next stop on our itinerary was Punta Ecological Park on the southern tip of the island. Pablo left us in the competent hands of his friend Paulo, who is the director of the island's Foundation of Parks and Museums. This park spans 247 acres and features a range of habitats from beaches with spectacular reefs to jungles and lagoons, like the one we were about to explore.
This is the Columbia Lagoon, and the best way to explore it is by kayak. Jorge and Saul took us out in kayaks to reach some of the more desolate parts of the lagoon. Todd's kayak almost sank, so we switched drivers to better distribute the weight.
Because of the gear!
Soon my guide spotted the first sign of life. Herons love this area as it provides protection, places to rest, and good fishing too. It was hard to get a good shot as most of the birds were high in the trees and we had little mobility.
We did our best to get a good shot of this unusual creature, a boat-billed heron. This species is usually nocturnal, so getting close enough to get even a so-so view of it roosting was very exciting. We wanted to see if we could get a better view, but backlight and distance were working against us. Boat-billed herons are named for their unusual-looking bills, which resemble an overturned boat. But what a great find!
Flying overhead, we spotted this magnificent frigate bird, and below it on the shore, we spotted this black-necked stilt. But the highlight for me was this young flamingo. They're more grayish colored when born, and it takes about 2 years for them to turn pink. The pink color comes from carotenoids in the food they eat. No worries, this wouldn't happen to humans. We don't eat enough carotenoids to turn us pink. But wouldn't it be cool if I could turn Todd pink? I might be onto something. Todd's kayak began taking on water.
It was from the gear!
So we stopped here at this palapa to get out of the sun and wait for a boat to come and rescue us.
This poor guy had to kayak me a long way, and I'm not exactly small. I sunk the first kayak. The second kayak barely stayed up. We only got halfway. We had to be rescued by a boat. His arms are on fire.
Mamma mia.
Are you okay?
It's okay, sir.
Oh, I feel bad.
You look much stronger.
Yeah.
Your biceps are bulging. Finally, the boat arrived to get us, and after we convinced Todd that it was safe, we were back in business. Better luck this time. The Columbia Lagoon serves as an important shelter for many of the island's endemic species. We crossed the lagoon and soon we found ourselves at the coast. We were filled with awe at how quickly the setting changed. What an amazing place. We were so lucky to be here. The waters of the Caribbean were clear and warm, so we took a break and took some time to cool off. Our day was far from over, and for that we were glad. We were thoroughly enjoying our time here, and soon it was time to head back.
When we got back, we went to check out the team that works on sea turtle conservation. They work incredibly hard here, and Terry took a moment to visit with the volunteers about what they were working on. Loggerhead and green sea turtles nest here on the eastern coast of Cozumel in great numbers, and volunteers see to it that these hatchlings have the absolute best chance of survival.
This little loggerhead just hatched today.
Wildlife is important here, and so is the history.
Behind us is a Caracol lighthouse. Wow, I'm learning how to speak the language. Are you proud of me? I can barely even speak Minnesotan yet alone. Anything else?
You just said it very good.
Okay, cool. So it looks little. Were the people very short?
Yes, the Mayans were short people. However, I do want to point out, it does look short, but you have to think, Terry, that many hundreds of years have gone by. We're in front of the ocean. We've had many hurricanes, the erosion, the time, sand, wind. So it has worn down the structure. It used to be, I don't want to say much, much, much taller, but taller than what it looks like now.
So you say hundreds of years. That's pretty vague. Can you narrow that down a little bit more? Are we talking 200, 900?
We think the structure, Terry, dates back between 1200 and 1500.
1200 and 1500 years from now. So now you want me to do the math?
Well, 1200 and 1500 AD.
AD, yes. Okay. Yes. So you do the math for me? It's my birthday. I shouldn't have to think that hard.
800 to 500 years.
Yeah, but what if this is airing in like 2148?
Well, then you do the math,
Oh,
Todd,
okay.
not us. Happy birthday, Terry. Feliz cumpleaños.
Thank you. For our next lesson, Paula took us to the Celerine Lighthouse.
Okay, Todd, ready? We're going to go up the Celerine Lighthouse.
Okay.
But I want you to be very careful and watch your head. Disclaimer, I'm not saying your head is big. I just want you to be careful with it. I don't want you hitting your head on the way up.
All right, you and Terry can't talk anymore. I know where you got this from.
Okay, I'll try to be silent from now on. Ready?
Yes.
Let's go up.
It's about 130 steps to the observation tower to the top. Paula and Terry seem to have no problem, but I'm more realistic. I think they were just acting. The views here made it worth the climb, and from up here we could see the layout of the entire island, the beach, and the jungle. Plus there was a cool breeze, so we were able to rest while taking in the magnificent scenery. From up here we could see into the clear water and spotted some large fish below, perhaps some barracuda. Honestly, we couldn't tell. But it was really neat, and I was glad I made the trek up here. This observation deck offers the best panoramic view that you could find of the island and the sea surrounding it. This truly is paradise.
While we were on the island, we took a day to head to Riviera Maya on the mainland to learn about cenotes. A cenote is a sinkhole filled with water. They offer great diving experiences, or some just come to take a dip. We came to learn about their history and to spot wildlife. This black iguana must have heard that we were coming. Black spiny-tailed iguanas are abundant here too, and they pose well for the camera and don't seem to be startled to see humans. But if you tried to catch it, it would show you how quickly it can move, trust me. Or if you're less fortunate, you could suffer being lashed by its strong tail.
This is a basilisk, or Jesus lizard, nicknamed for its ability to run on water.
And this is a juvenile green iguana. What a cutie.
Cenotes tell an interesting story, as our friend Geronimo tells us.
Now, all over Mexico, there's something that's called cenotes. Cenotes, correct?
Correct.
Is that how you pronounce it? Okay. I'm bad at speaking the language. I'm trying to be good, but I'm getting there. Maybe by the time I get home, I'll be speaking better Spanish.
No, I thought you meant English.
Very funny. Anyway, this is Geronimo. And Geronimo, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you specialize in.
Well, I'm specialized in cave diving and also in underwater speleology,
Okay.
as well as underwater archaeology. But I'm a naturalist, and I love photographing wild animals.
Tell us a little bit about the cenotes and how fascinating they are, about the history.
Right. Well, they are an open book of geology, and in the cenotes we can learn how the water dissolves the rock, and then it constructs the rock. And these are dissolution caves, or solution caves, meaning they were formed by the force of the water. And after they were formed, they were decorated with this same water. And after that, there's the collapse. And those are the three mechanisms of the speleogenesis, or the formation of the caves.
And that is in every cenote that you see. They're all basically formed the same way, even though there's none of them that are the same.
Exactly.
If anybody ever has a chance to visit a cenote, you absolutely have to do it. They're really something everybody should experience once in their lifetime. Pretty abundant here. Thank you so much, Geronimo, for
You're
sharing
very
your
welcome.
knowledge with us and letting us come and explore this with you. Geronimo took us for a tour of the jungle around the Dos Ojos cenote in search of the motmot bird. And lo and behold, we found some. What a great find. These birds can be identified by their tail feathers. Look closely and you'll notice that their tail feathers have some bare spines toward the tip. The motmot bird swings its unique tail like a pendulum. They use this to express excitement, or as a response to predators, or simply as a way to communicate with other motmot birds, or perhaps for mating. Super cool.
This next creature wasn't on our bucket list, but it was under our tire.
Your tire. You saved his life.
And now it's famous.
Yes.
Oh, I love this.
No, don't do that. You don't have to. We already know you're cool, Todd.
I am cool.
We already know you're brave. Now eat it.
You think you can go through customs? Probably not.
Coming up, Todd fails at snorkeling. The next day, back in Cozumel, and we were ready to begin our next adventure. Dive Palancar is taking us out today to snorkel the reef. Cozumel is home to the second largest reef system in the world. Let me first tell you that Todd has never snorkeled before in his life, and as amazing as he may claim to be, even he has off days. Today was one of those. His first mistake was that he chose to be macho and not wear a life jacket. Also, he was trying out a new camera and didn't realize it's important to be still. But we were having fun, and at one point I think he accidentally filmed part of a fish. We know what to do different next time, and somehow we made it home safely. What a great week.
Well, that's our show this week. Thanks a lot for tuning in.
If you want to go on more nature adventures with the two of us, if you dare, check out our website at natureadventuresonline.org. While you're on our website, you can learn more about us and all the things that we do.
Right, and don't forget to find us on Facebook and Twitter. It's easy, we're the ones that look like this. But anyway, we had a lot of fun today. We hope you had fun watching, but you'll have a lot more fun if you go on your own nature adventure.
We'll see you next time.
Did you know that Todd in Spanish means man of sweat? Oofta.